I want to introduce the erudite scholars we have in our midst. We are blessed this time around with 3 professors in our midst. I want to welcome the first person, Professor Victor Emmanuel Osodeke. Can you greet us?
Thank you, Amable. Yes, I'm here. Hello.
You are welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Professor Victor Emmanuel Osodeke is a native of Kori Island, Delta State. He attended River State University of Science and Technology, Port Harcourt, from where he obtained a Bachelor's degree of Science degree in Soil Science with first-class honors. He emerged the university best graduating students in 1986 to 87 session. He also attended the University of Ibadan for his master's degree and Michael Okpara University of Agriculture, Onwodi, for his PhD degree. He holds the first PhD degree of that university. He started his working career at the Rubber Research Institute of Nigeria, Benin City. He later moved to the Delta State University, Abraka. He is presently a professor of soil chemistry and mineralogy of the Michael Okpara University of Agriculture, Onwodi. Professor Osodeke has held several administrative positions in the university. He has the head of soil science and meteorology department and member of Senate. He was a member of the University Governing Council and was the director of the University Continuing Education Center. Professor Osodeke is a member of the governing board of the West African Soil Service Center on Climate Change and Agricultural Land Use, WASCA, based in Accra, Ghana. Professor Osodeke is the first alumnus of Michael Okpara University of Agriculture to attend the professorial rank. He's also an alumnus of Mashhad Institute, Israel. Professor is also a Rotarian and was a past president of the Rotarian Club of Onwodi Central, and was also an assistant governor of Rotary International District 1940. He also is a unionist, a past chairman, past zonal coordinator, past national financial secretary, past vice president, and immediate past president of Academic Staff Union of University ASU. Professor Osodeke has published more than 80 articles in local and international journals. He is married to Onome. His heartthrob. The marriage is blessed with 4 men. Please, can we welcome Professor Osodeke? You are welcome. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir.
We're hearing you.
Okay.
Just assume we're hearing you. Thank you.
Okay. Let me also introduce another good professor in our midst. We are blessed with professors today. I want to introduce Professor Gregory Onwodi. Professor Gregory Onwodi holds a bachelor's degree in computer science from University of Nigeria, Nsukka in 1995. Master's in Information Technology, MIT, University of Lagos, UNILAG, 2025. MPhil and PhD Computer Science from University of Babcock in 2015. He is a Microsoft Certified Professional Member, Nigerian Computer Society Member, Computer Professional Council Member, Nigerian Institute of Biomedical Engineering, and Fellow of the Institute of Information Management, Africa, at the Open University, National Open University of Nigeria. He was Study Center Director at Special Study Center for Nigerian Immigration Service from 2018 to 2020.
Okay, sir.
He served Professor Gregory served as Director ICT for now from 2020 to 2024. He then served briefly as the Study Center Director of now, Wuse Study Center, Abuja, in 2024. He is the pioneer Dean of Faculty of Computing at now, an AI Program Coordinator, African Center of Excellence for Technology and Learning, a World Bank funded project. He serves at the Commonwealth Learning National ICT Study Skills Development Team from 2006 to 2019. He served as a team member of the UNESCO project for ICT skill integration into teachers training curriculum. He has won international and local research grants as principal lead research investigator. He has served as NUC accreditation team lead. As principal research investigator, he won international GSTN research grants in 2023 and now senior 2024 research grants, visiting professor to the new Jet University in Lafayette. He is also a visiting professor and external examiner at the Department of Computer Science, Nile University, Nigeria. He is a reviewer of reputable journals. He has over 50 publications. His research area include artificial intelligence, AI, data science, mobile learning technologies, and software engineering. He also has interest in research involving application of computing in agriculture. He has also authored books and chapters of books in computing. He has attended and presented papers at several conferences and workshops, both locally and internationally, where he has brokered beneficial collaborations. He is happily married with you. Welcome to this discussion, Professor Gregory Onwodi. And the last but not the least professor in our midst that will be discussing with us today is Professor Prince Will Alozie. Professor Prince Will Alozie has taught in several universities, including University of Calabar, Ebonyi State University, Madonna University, Nigeria. He has a master's degree in law from Moscow. This is in addition to his several educational qualifications culminated in PhD in philosophy. Served as the head of department of philosophy. Served as head of philosophy at Lagos State University. Lagos State University. Hello. His area of specialization includes philosophy of science, philosophy of education, publications and contributions. He has authored and edited numerous scholarly work, notable history and philosophy of science. Professor has played roles and service as Secretary of the Nigerian Association of Nigeria from 1990 to 1999. He has served at the National Institute of Physics Science Association of Nigeria. He is a member, Writer Association of Nigeria, a Reader Association of Nigeria. He is honored with a life membership award of the Nigerian Philosophical Association. Currently serves as the board of directors of the Basi Ede Foundation, now affiliation with Basi Ede Foundation. Listed as a trusted link to Lagos State University and the Foundation website with an email contact address. We welcome Prof Professor Prince Willingham Alozie to this discussion. You are all welcome. Today, we are going to treat a topic on the translation of African research results, translation of African research results to industrial products. We know Africans have been conducting researches without them being translated to products that can earn them viable profits, home and abroad. We want to do the discussion. So we want Professor Gregory Onwodi to commence the discussion. Prof, I want to ask, what do you see as the biggest challenge or barrier to translating research into market-ready products in Africa? You have the floor, Prof.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for that poser. Well, there are quite a number of hurdles or challenges impeding the marketability of our research in Africa. Number one is the common challenge, which is funding. While preparing for this discussion, this roundtable discussion, I reflected. I said, yes, funding, the challenge is there. We have organizations like TED Fund, and we also have other agencies, both at government level and at other private organizations that fund research. For instance, if you come to TED Fund, there's the National Research Fund that TED Fund avails for research, of which I've applied a couple of times. And there's also the Institution-Based Research Fund. Then, like I said, there are other organizations that support funding. Like my university, for instance, there's what we call Senate research grants, which I have, I've won like twice in my organization. So the government of the country in Nigeria, I'm not, I want to believe it replicates across the African country, but using Nigeria as an example, I've recognized that challenge of funding. But the issue is that when you match the number of researchers in this country seeking fund to, advance their research or to actually from ideation to production, in terms of research from ideation to production to marketability, if you match the number of researchers against the fund that is available and against those that actually access the fund, you see that it's very minimal. It's nothing to go home to talk about. It's minimal. And so funding remains a fundamental problem. And again, you see that as I was musing over preparing, I also realized that in this country, Nigeria, we operate in silos. What I mean by that is there's limited collaborative research and there's limited networking in terms of people coming together to see how to, integrate ideas and see how their research will actually help to address pressing problems in the country. So number one, research. Number one, operating in silos, limitation of collaboration. These are immediate challenges to or impediments to marketability of our research. And you see, because of this limited funding, you see most of our research students, postgraduate research students, they just focused on doing research work that end up in the shelf. Because I remember there was one research we wanted to embark upon, and then the teacher was, can you, if my professor was saying, are you sure you can go forward with this research? Do you know the enormity involved? Where you get the funds from? And so we had to change the research topic and, narrow down the research. So at the end of the day, such research does not make the meaningful impact. It does not, tackle the pressing problem. And most of them, for that moment of time, they attract the accolades, but at the end, it ends up in the shell. So clearly funding is there, operating in silo, lack of collaboration, and then government on its part are not creating enough sensitization to, stimulate people, sensitization by creating awareness and also easily availing people, not just one channel like TED Fund. Create, awareness to the grassroots and create access to funding down to the grassroots. Intermittently, I see videos from people in the grassroots areas, villages, where you don't expect. See young men showcasing, research products from, next to nothing. They model something you marvel at. I say, how did this young man come about this? But it ends there. Promote such research at those grassroots levels. So I don't want to take all the time. Key, I've highlighted funding, highlighted operating in silos, lack of collaboration, lack of, awareness and accessibility of funds even to the, grassroots areas to locate these researchers that are in the hinterlands. So, and then when you match that against our population, you see that what TED Fund is doing cannot really go a long way to bring our resources to the fore. So let me just peg it there so I don't take all the time. Thank you. Hello? Hello, hello? I hope I've not been speaking to myself. Hello?
We're hearing you. The
We can hear you,
moderator
sir.
has to take over.
Okay, the moderator is muted. Dr. David, you're muted.
Okay.
Hello?
Uh-huh.
Can you hear me?
Please continue.
Are you hearing me?
We're hearing you.
can hear
So
Continue.
you.
Continue.
I want to invite Professor Emmanuel to portray on this funding aspect.
Well, thank you very much. I hope you can hear me.
Hello?
Hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
We can hear
Okay.
you.
Well, I'm going to give a little robust to what my colleague has talked about. I was asked to speak on regulatory challenges in bringing research-based products to the market.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm using Nigeria as a case study.
Okay.
See, we need to add a little to the side. Like I said, I want to thank this organization for this particular program and for inviting me to this program. Let's try this year's theme, which is translation of research results to industrial market. And I think for Nigeria, this opportunity to be discussed because we are in the need of implementing the research conducted by Nigeria and not foreign partners, people hearing. In Nigeria, the relationship between the researchers, which is the academics, and the researchers and the industry is very poor. There's no relationship. And that's a real problem. Not even, it's funding is not a problem, but having a meeting point between the researcher and those, the end users, are the real problem we have today. As of today, whether we like it or not, we have a lot of research, very high tech, hanging there in the drawers, and nobody is using, nobody is interested in. What Nigerian industrialists, the leaders, and the Nigerian government leaders are interested in is traveling abroad to look for foreign aids, foreign assistance, foreign research. I can tell you, that is our really problem. Any day our leaders start looking home, looking at our own researches, look at our own universities as an avenue to create research that will solve our local problems, we will resolve our problem. In many of these world we talk about, even when the COVID broke down, a number of countries in the world challenged academia to develop a solution. When they have problems, they urge them to develop a solution by our own. We're very interested. But then we want to go and give so much from one side to help you do the work. Let me give you a simple example. The issue between IPPIS and UTAS of ASU. If you recall, federal government had to abroad to Europe to get a program to pay ordinary salary to workers at a huge amount of money every year we pay to those foreign countries. Do we need to do that? Do you need a foreign country to come and tell you how to pay your staff? But it didn't take us so long to develop a similar program with government. I'm going to talk about that later. What are the sources of research products? Very clear. The sources of research products in Nigeria are either in the research institute or in the Nigerian tertiary institutions, universities, and other tertiary institutions. And then you have some organizations that have been put in place that their function is to do research. Let me give you an example. NITSA. The idea is to do research on ICT and related products and so forth as Agricultural Research Council. But the problem, like my colleague has said, is that these organizations are not funded. As we speak to today, we have no less than 50 senior academics, senior lecturers and above, 50,000 in Nigeria, but nobody is interested in them. Nobody wants to fund anything in any relationship to solve our problem. We have more than 66 national research institutes. You can check this year's budget. No research institute got up to 1 billion naira for research. None of the research got up to 1 billion naira for research. But you are spending hundreds of billions to pay salary. So where is the idea of research institute when you are giving 1 billion, less than 1 billion, 500,000 to do research for a year for a research institute, and you can afford to spend hundreds of billions to pay salary and run overhead. So that is our problem. We are not interested in investing in research and related products. So that is one of the problems we have today in Nigeria. Nigeria and Africa will try to solve this problem, to bring researchers and the market together to form a relationship that will continue and solve our local problems. What are the market product end users? Who are they? Number one is the government. For example, the health sector. You need researchers how to produce new drugs. 2 days ago, I heard of one institution, I think it's Sokoto, who produce a special drug that can solve some issue of cancer. But I can show you the government will not look at that. They will look away. The big company will not look at that. Our agriculture is the same thing. We need to develop an agricultural system that will work. Let me now talk about that IPPIS. We fought government over 5 to 6 years, and we put it in IPPI because it's not working. It is clear now that it's not working. And they challenged us for the first time, say, produce alternative that is better without funding. But ASU spent 3 months and produced UTAS. The two were tested by NIGDA, and ASU scored a very higher than IPPIS that were never tested, except that we forced them to test IPPIS. I showed that it was not working. But after that test, even we, actually government did it for free, government still insisted on using IPPIS for our payment of salary, are paying huge money every month to foreign company for using that research product. Then you have the research regulatory bodies. You have them, I've mentioned some of them. You have the Agricultural Research Council. You have the National Office for Technology and Promotion, NOTAP. National Information Technology Development Agency, NIDA, and so many other ones that have been created. And funding, not funding for research, but funding for payment of salary. No, see the difference. You have a research setup that's going to do research, but you don't give money for research. You rather pay for the salary for as far as concerned. Pay the workers, building structures. You answer your problem without putting money on research. That's one of the major problems we have. So there is really no usage of the information we have. So what are the problems of research development application in Nigeria? Like Malika, have poor funding of universities, research institutes, and what have you. Like my colleague said, well, that institution have how much do you have in that particular envelope, as I call it nowadays? No university this year will have more than 1 billion for research, even from tech fund, and you have maybe 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 2,000, 1,000, 2,000 lecturers. How are they going to spend that research? Spend that money? So that's one of the problems. Another problem we have today is that our researchers are not working and we're not having so what refers to as appointment of mediocres to manage research-based institutions and regulatory bodies. Today, appointment of key officers to these bodies, including university, is not politically based. So you appoint a mediocre who has little or nothing. When he comes in to avoid challenges, appoint people who are lower than him to run the system, who have no idea. You know what will help for as cascading mediocrity, which is what we have in our institution today. No government wants to appoint a high-tech person with brain. They want to appoint people they can control, the politicians, to head to be VCs, to be directors, and what have you. And today you can see the impact on the system. When you are going to do VC appointment, the country is ablaze because the politicians are struggling to ensure they put somebody who they can control. And you have that. Then you have one of the inferiority complex. A Nigerian man, if you put a professor with high standard in Nigeria and a very foreigner, especially from Europe, America, who have just a lecturer one and say, choose the one that work for you, we will choose that the other person. So they have so inferiority complex that we be like your problem will be solved by a foreigner. You run abroad. There's a case of a minister who had an issue, went for Germany for operation. After it didn't work, they had to call an expert from UK, from US to come and take care of him. And you know who your expert is? A Nigerian. But if it were Nigerian, the man would not allow him to touch him. So that is some of that problem we have. That is inferiority complex. Our leader believe that anything that comes from abroad is better than anything you have at home. We have to change that narrative. Then you have corruption, which is our major aim. Corruption. A country that can afford to spend 30 trillion naira to try a road from Lagos to Calabar. 30 trillion. Cannot afford to put 200 billion naira in non-Nigerian universities. For Nigerian university, 200 billion is so high, there's no fund. But 30 trillion to tie a road, where there's already a road, you can afford to do that. You can afford to give 90 billion to Nigerian religious body to go for Hajj, personal issue. But you can only put 4 billion. You cannot give 4 billion to Nigerian students as grants. You wanted to take it as loan. That's what I refer to. That is major sort of corruption in the system. Even the church fund, they are already being run by politicians, and you are having a problem. Then you have the poor linkage between the industry and research. I've mentioned that. You have what I refer to as a embarrassing and inexplicable lack of interest in Nigerian researchers by industries, which is very clear. I went to one of the highest industries in Nigeria. I will not mention it. One of the highest industries. And when we enter there, I will find out that most of the technical people there, technologists that technical there, are from India. So the one doesn't believe in our people that we can do the job. So that is like the problem we are having within the system. So, but how can we now solve this problem? I will make 3 suggestions. Number 1 is the Nigeria need to adopt this triple helix model. That is triple helix model in trying to establish a relationship between the universities, the government, and the industries. This model was developed by Henry Edcoswitz and co. in the 90s. I refer to a relationship between academia, which is the universities, the industry, and the government. And it's run in such a way that government provides the funding, provide the plan, And then the research institution, the university conduct the research and produce innovation that the industry will apply. Then the industry will, in addition, pay back to the system. So then our industry does not fund universities. They don't contribute to research grants as they have outside the world. They just make billions and billions every month without giving it to institutions that provided the basis for which we are running. They don't. The Dangote is how many are they giving to university for research? Not. For instance, somebody was launching a library, and we raised 20 billion overnight. But how much are we giving to research? So that is one. When you go to countries that are already implementing it, China, Rwanda, United Kingdom, and Thailand, go to Rwanda. You can see their country, a very small country, because they have adopted this triple helix model. Go to China today, they are running over the whole world because of this triple helix system. So there's a need for Nigeria to ensure that we adopt this, to establish this linkage relationship between the industry, research, and the government for the benefit of our people. So that when you want to do anything, go to your that, then you have a source of funding for research in Nigerian universities. Then the next one is enhancing research and development in Nigeria. The research and development funding in Nigeria is extremely low. It's extremely low, one of the lowest in the world, because the industry are not contributing. The government is not contributing. Then recently, I think 2020, the Danish Tech Fund ES set up a high-tech committee made of very senior academics, industrial gurus, government senior technology to review our R&D policies and make recommendations. I served in the committee on energy, and we know what we did. And they came out with a very fine report and submitted to the government, and as usual with the Nigerian government, it was not touched. That report is still there. So we encourage this government to go and unearthing that report and look at it, and we'll solve our energy problem, we'll solve our agricultural problem, solve our health problem without running abroad every day, as our leaders are doing. I keep asking myself, how many leaders of the world you see running all over looking for help? And very importantly, no country will give you the best. All they will try to do here is to come here and harvest your natural resources. And that's what you are doing. Harvesting our oil, crude, minerals, and what have you. That's what they come here for. And you think they're coming here to help you. At the time of creating research environment, there's a need for appropriate funding and development infrastructure that can do present research, not the one we have in laboratories today that we have in our universities that are outdated. There's a need to update them. And in doing that, they should go and look at the report, the assessment report of 2022, and look at it. And if they do that, we will compete with any university in the world for research problem. In conclusion, if Nigeria and other African countries truly seek to escape from the abyss of chronic underdevelopment, they should look in the direction of university researchers who truly understood the nature of our developmental challenges to prefer homegrown solutions rather than running to the foreigners to help us find solutions to our problem. No nation, no matter how developed, can love us more than ourselves. Indeed, no developed country will surrender the best of its product to us for development. At best, we can get from them our products that we are already obsolete and they want to offload at a cost to you. Therefore, we must develop genuine interest in our scholars, their researches, and product if we wish to break the cycle of generations of underdevelopment. No, thank you for now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Prof. The moderator,
thank you very much.
Are you there?
I'm here. Okay. Okay.
The creation of tech fund, because Professor Osodeke mentioned that industries are not contributing, but we are aware that state fund was to fund this research? Is it that the politicians are meddling with the fund's money, or that the persons at the helm of affairs are not doing the right thing? Professor Prince, please do justice to that. Hello? 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 Are you with us, Professor Prince Will?
He's talking. His mic is mute, sir.
Okay. Unmute the mic.
Yes,
Who is calling you?
Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
we are hearing you. Prof, we are hearing you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I got your question, and I listened partially to what Professor Osodeke said. And your question is about TED fund, am I correct? TED
Yes,
fund.
it was contributed so that industry can contribute 2%. Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Research.
Yes, first of all, I want to thank all of you for thinking about this kind of topic, and the idea that is Africa-based, African network of professionals is very salutary. Something was said about mediocres manning positions in institutions of higher learning. That is a very major issue before even we talk about TED fund. Right, because in some countries that have made it, it is not everybody that becomes a teacher or becomes a professor. No.
Yes.
You have to be worthy of that title. I tell you, in the then Soviet Union, and I guess it is still the same thing now, even now that it's Russia, if you are introduced as a teacher, just a teacher, there is almost automatic respect for you, because it is not everybody who is a teacher. You can be a teacher in the primary school, but you must be cerebral. You have brain. That is how they do it. Not to talk of teaching in the secondary school or in the university. They listen to you, right? So it's the best brain. But what is happening here is if you cannot get any employment anywhere, they say, well, let's go and manage teaching, right? So the industries, they also recruit our best brains, but not to manufacture, but to serve. Like during the colonial period, education was to train clerks and bookkeepers and so forth. That thing is still on now. That model is still on. Now, the universities are totally ignored. They're totally ignored. So the fundamental thing now is, for me, from my own perspective, is to have a kind of nation, political organization that will regard education and research as a very important issue. It's not happening here. The nation is not interested in education. They are interested in football. You play, score goal, they give you billions. But if you are a teacher, you're on your own. That is, or you're the way they say it in slang, right? So these are the problems we're having here. The nation is not interested in education. But let me quickly move on before I also talk about that fund. The fact is that we are hooked onto the World Bank, IMF, and WTO. That cannot help us as a people. No. When you are hooked onto these people, you are hooked onto slave masters. We are still being ruled as slaves.
Yes.
That is a terrible thing. And so whatever we are giving, look at it. We go on strike. The country, the leaders are not interested. If you like, go on strike for 1 month, 1 year, they don't care. Why? Because They send their children overseas to study, to come back and continue the slave-master-slave relationship. And so research is out of the way for them. They don't care about research. They don't care about research. They are interested in looting, getting money. And when you talk about money, money is not wealth. As we have been wrongly educated, we think that if you have plenty of dollars, plenty of yen, you are wealthy. You are not wealthy. But the wealthy people are those who have industries, who produce things. Yes, that has been demonstrated over and over again over the years. So that is it. The third aspect is the issue of having a nation, a country. What we find ourselves doing here is to be bickering. Where are you from? Are you from Akwa Ibom? Are you from Tubo? Are you from? No, that kind of nonsense. The world powers don't have overgrown that kind of stupid divisions. All right? If you look at world history, Russian Empire was very massive. It extended even up to Alaska. Yes, it extended up to Alaska. And even Poland and so forth, they were all a part of Russian Empire before the Soviet Union. Soviet Union came up 1917, right? Yes, so when you look at all those things, you find that various nationalities, various linguistic groups are grouped together. Is it German? The Germanic people, Germanic races, tribes? It was Bismarck who got them together by force. Is it the French Empire under Napoleon? Napoleon covered the whole of Europe, even up to Russia. Yes. And was just stopped from conquering Russia. What this means is that various linguistics groups, various cultural groups are lumped together. Now, for us, it is important that we unite as Africans. Not even at the Nigerian level. Nigerian level, these are the things created in Berlin, 1884-85. We should overgrow that. They are defining us, telling us who should be our brothers, which nation should be what. That is very stupid of us to accept, right? And so, in this vein, I am using this opportunity to remember Abdul Nasser of Egypt, to remember Gaddafi, who they just killed not long ago, to remember Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, to remember Nnamdi Azikiwe of Nigeria, Sékou Touré of Guinea, and Mandela, of course, Steve Biko of South Africa, and some of the Africans in the diaspora who pioneered the issue of Pan-Africanism. We have to work as a country, a continent that transforms itself into a continent that transforms into a country, right? In that regard, I want also to pay attention. I want us to pay attention to what is happening in the Sahel region. What this young man is doing, Ibrahim Traore. He was able, within a short period, to get Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. The kind of thing that Kwame Nkrumah tried, and they didn't allow him to work. All of us should be thinking along that direction. Why? These people, when I say these people now, I mentioned the World Bank, IMF, World Bank, IMF, and WTO. They are interested in keeping us divided. They will come from far away to tap our resources and make sure that we are continuously divided. We should not do that. What that means, again, before we come into TED Fund, is that education should be a priority affair for us as a people. I'm now not talking of those small countries partitioned, called like cakes during the Berlin conference. No, I'm talking of Pan-Africanism. That is the way to go. When we do that, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Kenya, and it is not a religious issue, by the way. Dollars as their reserve, and it was seized. That gave signal to everybody that it can happen to them. That is why even Saudi Arabia did a rethink. Saudi Arabia, very close to the US, they had to rethink what we do. Suppose this kind of thing happens to us, all right? China, the Russians, Indians, all of them now came together and started charting a new way. So in doing that, education becomes very important. Investment in science and technology becomes very important. It's not a question of taking money. Money is pure symbol. It is not the wealth, like I said earlier. It's not wealth. What is wealth? The knowledge you have. Look at China has surprised the world. Before they were thinking, oh, China, they don't have anything. They are backward. Of course, like Marx said, this group, the ruling group, if they're bad enough as they are, they put the ingredients that will destroy them. Yes. So look at the US. They had to send some of the production issues to China, where they have what they call cheap labor. Cheap labor because there was education, universal free education, from the time of Mao Zedong. And they continue that way. And remember too, in China, they have a stable civil service. It's not this kind of nonsense we are doing around here. The best brains are recruited into the civil service. Whether you are from a very wretched family or not, if you pass the exam, you are a member of the civil service and you will serve the country, right? And when their union or cooperation with Russia is very important for us. So we need to look at that model that Ibrahim Traore is having, join hands with him, and that way we can be talking of research that makes meaning. Look at, they are refining their uranium. Our oil here, we are not refining in Nigeria. We have refineries that are not functional. My colleague spoke about road, trillions, but you don't, come and see the university laboratories. There are mockeries of laboratories. Come and see the teachers at various levels. They give them peanuts, whereas hooligans who get into the various parliaments of the various African countries, some hooligans, they get billions, stash some of them in foreign countries. This is not acceptable. It is terrible against our people. And if we are united as a continent, then we will make it. Thank you. Hello? 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 Hello?
Hello, I think the people are here.
Okay, okay,
Maybe the moderator is having problem.
okay, okay. Okay,
Wait,
I've seen.
they will pick up.
Okay,
They will pick up.
can we start the discussions? We have less than 15 to 20 minutes to do that. So can we
Yes,
take
go on.
questions, suggestions, the way forward? Please raise up your hand if you have any comment or question.
My hand is up, sir.
Okay, Matt. Matt, can we hear you? Unmute yourself and talk.
Okay, thank you, sir. My name is Matthew Nyakura. I work in the, I'm from the industry side, in oil and gas specifically, and in gas, natural gas marketing specifically. So, so I'm on the other side of the divide, if you call it that. I am honored to be in the presence of the professors and the scholars in our midst. And I was thank you so much for your presentation. So what I wanted to say is from another perspective now, from the industry side. You know, there is on the industry side, what I would like to suggest is that it is important for academia to understand the real problems that are being faced, so that when research is being carried out, this research would actually be addressing specific problems. So if as an industry practitioner or leader, for instance, I have a problem that if you can provide a solution to me, that would help me to make $1 billion, for instance, I will be ready to spend $1 million to fund that research, so that the result will make me more money, and that will be of benefit to both the academia and the industry as well. So I don't know to what extent we are trying to align that focus of this research. Because if you do research that is not relevant to me, I may not be interested in it and all of that. So that is one area. I know it is, I cannot say it's 100% that where academia is not meeting the needs of industry, but maybe we can inch it up a notch more to be more aligned, and that way we will be able to let me just give a few examples. For instance, in agriculture, our yields in Nigeria are very low, and agriculture as practiced in Nigeria is like a hit or miss, you know. So either, okay, this year was not good, okay, next year might be better, you know, it's like a hit or miss. While it's in other climes, like what is that university in Netherlands, something in one university in Netherlands that is a pioneer in very intensive agriculture, you know, because of their land size. So they are making a lot of strides in that area, and industry will be ready to pay for this because it is of benefit. It is bringing billions to them. You know, Chinua Achebe said the hunter has learned to shoot without missing. So the birds have also learned to fly without perching. So this is basically strategy from where you are to where you want to be. So what I want to say is that today we know that we have government that is not interested. We know that if we keep lamenting about what government is not doing, we can stay here for, I don't know when the solution will come. Maybe in the next generation or in the next 100 years, I don't know. But the point is that where we are today, what can we do? And for me, what we can do is to be laser focused on solutions that can bring value, and the money will come to fund this research, to bring out this value. People are selfish. People want to make money. And that is my submission, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, Professor Greg wants to say something as a speaker.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Chair, for the privilege, the opportunity to respond. Yes, actually, I want to thank the speaker, the last speaker, for provoking this aspect of my response. I was thinking that questions will be going around, so I just limited myself to a few of the points I had. Because one of the points I had that borders on why our research is not making the impact or getting to, the market as it should, is this problem of no proper handshake between the academia and the industry. Yeah, and I'll give you very valid examples to show why this problem is persisting. Professor Osodeke mentioned the issue of corruption. Corruption is a factor. But earlier on, you remember I mentioned funding. Then all through Professor Osodeke, Professor Alozie also hinted about funding. Now, funding and corruption are two evils that is bedeviling this nation with regards to research, getting off the shelf and getting to address the problems, as the last speaker cited. Now, let me go straight to the point. I'm always conscious of time. If you heard in the my citation of my profile, it mentioned that I was a coordinator in Estel, a World Bank center in a National Open University. I was there for 6 years. I was the coordinator of the Artificial Intelligence Program. Now, the World Bank introduced that research center to help address the research, particularly bordering in the area of technology-enhanced learning. Now, what Estel did was to try and bridge this gap between the academia and the industry. So what did we do? Particularly the PhD students, we tied 3 supervisors to our PhD students. We have supervisors, 2 supervisors not below the rank of senior lecturer, preferably a professor in the academics, the university, then an industry-based supervisor. So this industry-based supervisor will inform the students about problems they are encountering in the industry that relates to that research interest area that World Bank is funding. And they will be guiding the student from his, knowledge as to the real-time raw experience in this industry. But you see that despite this structure that is in place, for one reason or the other, the results that we saw is not making the needed, expected impact. One, like the last speaker said, you don't necessarily have to wait as somebody in the industry for the academia to, I know it's the responsibility of the academics to see, because part of our responsibility, apart from teaching research, is community development. It's our responsibility to know, identify the problems in our community, in the industry, around the nation, and see how to tackle it. Now, the industry also has a role to play in that they can reach out to the academia to say, okay, we have XYZ problem. I remember those days, much in my undergraduate days, you see industries coming to UNN. You understand? In my department there are letters they are writing to the HOD, even besides that, coming to fish for, the best brain that will help to address some challenges that, are in the industry. So what I'm saying in a nutshell is, I don't want to, because I've said that time is going, I'll run through all other issues I have, but to address this particular point that that was raised, it's a two-way thing. Because every time, all the conferences I have attended, it's like they are, putting the blame all the time on the academics that we are not bothering to tackle industry-based problems. And I ask that question again. The industry can reach out and say, oh, we have this XYZ problem. Please help us address it. And then we have this fund. And then you remove the element of corruption so that the fund will get, there are students, there are brilliant students that are ready, and what's it called? Lecturers, supervisors that are ready to do this work when there's funding. I'll give you an example of myself. You see, they cited I won a DSTN grant. We signed everything, MOU, everything was signed by an organization in France, by DSTN, with Estelle, with NIDA. Oh, you bring the money now. It had to do with a machine learning model that will help the visually impaired to navigate their way around some study of objects. My student was ready. I was ready. The professor in Bangkok were all ready. We have drafted the proposal and submitted. For 3 years, 4 years, we were pursuing this fund. It didn't come out. Wherever we said, okay, NIDA, you're supposed to bring 50% together with Estelle, while we get the other 50% from the French industry that initiated it. The 50% did not come from them. The 25% from NIDA, 25% from Estelle was not forthcoming. And in IT, every 3-6 months that comes, a research that you propose gradually gets obsolete because it keeps getting overtaken by new concepts, models, and technologies. So it's a whole mix. To summarize, my brother, as the academic have the responsibility to identify gaps and problems within the community and profess solutions. That is one of our core mandates: research, teaching, community development. As we have that, it's also the onus is still on the industry to say, oh, we have this research problem, please come and help us. And then you clear all the bureaucracies, because bureaucracy is another challenge that hinders research, is another challenge that impedes research work from actually getting from ideation for production to the industry. You understand? I mean, there is a whole lot. They've set up incubation centers. I know I have an incubation center in Abuja. They're very close to my house. Innovate. Go there. There are all sorts of ideas, innovations at incubation stages, but bureaucracies, funding, obstacles, red tapestry, and all that obstruction to getting the fund to move this research from ideation to production is there. So, in summary, please, it's a two-way thing. Academia, there are academias that are ready. As we speak now, I just submitted a partner with the university, Hertfordshire University in the UK, for a research that was initiated by the British Council on Transnational Education. You understand? So they provided £25,000 for that research. And then we have submitted our proposal. It was initiated by the British Council. So the industries in Nigeria can initiate research and bring it to the universities. And so we're ready to fund this. And you guys, not only that, the university will be dependent on debt fund. How much are the millions we are talking about? When you translate it to foreign currency, it doesn't go far. Sometimes you need foreign tools that you have to pay in pounds, or dollars, to be able to get them to deliver a proper research. So summarily, it's a two-way thing. Industry can be proactive, reach out to universities. I mean, when IBB was there as president, he identified there's a problem. We needed somebody to help us with regards to our political system. And he went to University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and picked, what's the name of this prof? Hopefully was. Aside from that, when he wanted to address the issue of economical, the economy, he picked Professor Soludo that time. So this is what industries, I'm just giving an example, a rough example. Industry can identify that they have a challenge and scout around the universities, see the strength areas of different universities and write to them, oh, we have this challenge. Can your erudite researchers, good researchers, embark on this research? This is the output we want. We are going to fund with X, Y, Z amount. And you put the money in a particular account so that they know that, yes, they can easily access that fund. Not that we'll be blaming the academia all the time. This handshake must be there between the academia and the others. And these are one of the ways to go about it. Thank you. Sorry, I've taken our time. Thank you so much.
Okay, the moderator is back, but I don't know where is he. Professor Swagu wants to say something. He's been raising up his hand. Can we hear him?
Oh, yeah. I think listen to the young man who spoke, Matt. I think we start from there and point out that it is important for people like him to understand what is going on, because he apparently doesn't appreciate what really is going on around him. The Nigeria, we are not talking of Nigeria now, but we are talking, this is a Pan-African forum, but I'm using Nigerian situation, which applies in most of the neo-colonies in Africa. In Nigeria, most African countries run on the program on the Kissinger report, which are being enforced by the Bretton Woods institutions and other Western organizations. And as a consequence, we are not really allowed to engage in serious research, and serious research is ignored. Example is that oil, petroleum is the base of Nigeria's industry. But in Nigeria, unless it has been changed, there is a law against teaching petroleum refining. You might mention it in passing, but at Futo, when Professor Chiwetedike, a friend, was chairman of council, I initiated a move to start and build a petroleum refining pilot plant at Futo. Futo had the money, but we found out there was a law against doing that. And then Professor Ejike made all the effort to go to the then Minister of Science and Technology, Jirachuka Moma, and try to get him to help obviate the problem. And Moma thought he was a madman. And that was the end. That's an example. Second, I did my sabbatical in Shell, 2011-12 year. And I went there with a research proposal, an elegant research proposal, thinking that sabbaticals were allowed to do actual research there. When I got there, I found out was not the case. They outsourced all their research work to their laboratories overseas. And we just did this thing here and there, and so on. The year was over, we got 2 salaries and left. So there is an inherent problem, and we have never had the government since 1966 that is oriented towards developing Nigeria till today. That would have changed that. And what I think we can do is to develop a paradigm when we see countries like Rwanda, like Ethiopia, like now Botswana, the boys in the Sahel, who are really interested in development, we find out what we can help, the academic people can help do, and reach out. In fact, recently I wrote to some people in Botswana and told them, look, we have enough information to reduce the HIV viral load, which many people don't appreciate is still a very, very serious problem in Africa, particularly Southern Africa. So this is the kind of thing I think we should do, and hope that the march from the Sahel will get here sooner than later and change the paradigm. Only that can change everything. The corruption, the the indifference. I did my PhD. Finally, I started at the University of Houston. My father invited me home. I came back. Did it at the University of Port Harcourt, finally. I had to defend my PhD without a supervisor, because instead of people sitting down and say, oh, what are you doing? Why are you insisting on thermodynamic approach? And then when I finished the thing, I actually worked on sickle cell disease, but I counted for the data thermodynamic approach. I pointed at the problem of sickle cell was the failure of the glucose processing process in the body. And that's the problem. And there are two systems in the body that depend absolutely on glucose for their feeding. And that is the red blood cell and the nerves. I said, look, there's an enzyme complex that failed. Now I wrote the thesis and so on. Everybody clapped, gave me special recommendation. When I went there a year ago, I said to the university, what has happened to that thing? How can the university could have found a way of getting an application? And so that is now where the issue of the quality of the leadership of the higher institutions come in, as well as the leadership of those in government. But I think that finally, the universities will become more relevant when we go back to like a proper federal system in Nigeria, where we have a system where each group, each region, will now face their problems and compete, instead of the situation that happened, say, in Nigeria, where we have people that are rent takers who now seize with arms the federal government and looting the treasury, and nothing happens. So I think that there needs to be a structural change. But meanwhile, let us reach out to those countries that are oriented towards African development, and give them proposals, and make reports, and make comments, and help direct, and so on, so that we can operate like other countries or the other nations, like the Russians, the Indians, and the Asians, China, and so on, and Americans. Thank you.
Please let the host continue, moderator. Dr. Chike David, can you continue, please? Continue. Hello, are you there? Okay, Prof. Osodeke is raising up his hand. Can we take his comment? We have barely 10 minutes to go.
Well, thank you very much. I hope you're hearing me.
Yeah.
We have listened to all of us, and for me, let me talk about the person who asked a few questions. I mentioned two things, talking about low yield in agriculture and why. And the answer is very clear. Do we know that the soil where we grow the crop is just like human? It needs to be fed. Is the soil being fed? And the answer is no. So very simple. If we have done good researches, in the 70s, the federal government and the government then conducted a soil survey of the whole country and came out with a report, which was used for some time, and it became obsolete. You have to do a new one. Since then, all proposals for the Soil Science Society for such things have been neglected. So the soil is like human. It needs to be fed. You need to be sick. You need to be treated. But we are taking the soil as just natural and you can do anything with it. And that's why I lead at you. And two, for you to now grow agriculture and want to pay it, go to the universities and let them do your soil analysis for you and tell you what to add. That is it, but we don't go there. We don't even go near to the street. We just keep on planting and apply fertilizer. Because when you have fertilizer you even apply, you make your crop yield lower. So on the other one, look, the industries is expected to challenge the university. You have a problem, go to the university and say, come and solve X, Y, Z for me. Not the lecturer now bring it to you, say, please use this one. No, you have a particular problem. You go to the university, you must not treat it. I haven't said it. You know, one of the good things we have as a country is that we have people who can speak so well, we can talk very well. Our problem is we can never implement. And that's why we have so many results, we have so many ideas, but those giving the ideas don't have the resources to implement. And those who should implement are those are referred to as mediocres. So they're not interested. So any day we can unite these two groups, those who are leaders and those who can implement, when we can unite them, and that's why I talk about the triple helix. When we can unite this, we'll have a perfect country. We have all the, I will tell somebody, you can grow crops in Nigeria, in the southern part, maize, you can grow four times in the year, but they only grow once. You can grow crop from Port Harcourt to Sokoto to Maiduguri, but yet we are importing food. And what we need are very little. So, like I mentioned, the triple helix, I get a government at the center that can relate or bring together the industries and the research based on the triple helix and make them work together for the benefit of this country. We would have solved our problem. Whether it is in petroleum, it is in the energy, it is in health, go anywhere we would have solved our problem. And that's my conclusion. Let us also, one thing we have found out is that many of our even scientists, we are not depending so much on foreigners. You want to score somebody in Nigeria University for publications and what have you. You ask, did you publish in London? Did you publish in UK? Did you publish in this? You're not talking about, did you publish in Agricultural Society of Nigeria? So we have been captured by this idea of foreign better than local, even in the academia. When you get a research grant from those countries, they have their control. Like the man who went to share said, when you go to share for anything, you are like a robot. They tell you what to do. They don't use your idea. So I want to see if we can become independent again and work for ourselves. We have the technology, we have the brain. But our problem is that we don't use our brains for our people. And that's why the best brain in Nigeria are running away. I think that's the best solution. So that's my idea. Let's come back to Nigeria. Let's rebuild Nigeria. Let's take control of our resources and ensure that the ordinary person we have in this country today enjoy the benefit of his country. When you go to Benue now, there's orange everywhere. 90% of those orange are going to be destroyed because they will not be sold before they get back, because we don't have a way of processing the orange. Very soon you see pineapple. So you see them. You see maize just wasting because we have not developed the technology or use the technology we have the system to ensure that we can process this thing so that you can use it for 1, 2, 3, 4 years. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Prof. Thank you. I've been an advocate of this particular slogan that there is no transfer of technology, that we have to generate and build on our own technology. That is why this topic that is being discussed is a very crucial topic. Let us also not allow the foreigners, the colonial masters, as we always cry that they wrote our history, which is not the correct history. We should also allow them to do our researches for us so that we just become consumers. It is a turning point. Technologies
Sorry again, the moderator is having network issue. So we have less than 5 minutes to conclude, and we are going to go. So I quickly thank all of us. He's back. Moderator, are you continuing? We want to conclude. Hello? All right, I want to thank everybody for coming. We thank especially the speakers, Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, Professor Princewill Alozie, Professor Gregory Onwodi. You people did wonderfully well. Even the people that commented, Professor Swago, Mark, what's his name again? And then the moderator also did wonderfully well, even though his
network
network
challenge.
did not allow him to do much. Thank you very much. By next quarter, we hope to do our annual congress, ANoP annual congress. We promise that it's going to be greater than this. For our speakers, we'll get back to you because we hope to publish all our proceedings and then give you awards for speaking to ANoP. Thank you very much. Moderator, you're back. Can you conclude? Thank you.
Yes, I thank all the speakers in our house today. They did wonderfully well. As Dr. Nkuma said, it's a good harvest today. So also welcome them in any of that series that we'll be conducting to speak and impart our minds and knowledge. We hope for coming. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.